Well, hey guys, welcome. It's Amanda with Untamed Fitness. So, what I wanted to do today is I've been trying to do a little bit more of my workouts this week, kind of been going a little bit harder than normal, right? And so, my shoulders, specifically like my rotator cuffs, which is like you're going to feel that on like the outside of your shoulders, as well as the inside of my shoulders are a little bit tight. And I know that when I try to turn, like I get a little bit more mobility going one way than the other. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stretch and recover myself and properly foam roll with lacrosse balls. I have a tennis ball. I've got foam roller as well as some other tools. But I figure this is like really helpful for you guys as well. I've got I don't know, like numerous clients that are also having upper body stuff, probably because we focus so much on like weightlifting and making sure that our form's correct. But the rotator cuffs, they usually are prone to injury just because they are smaller muscles, right? So, we use them all the time. Literally, think anything that rotates your arms, right? You're using your rotator cuff. So that's why you'll always hear about like, I don't know, like baseball players getting that injury, right? They just kind of like overuse that muscle, overuse the muscle. It eventually gets tired and it'll tear or like you just have to sit out or it just gets exhausted, which for me, that's where I'm at right now, is like they're just kind of tired, right? So anatomy wise, we're not just going to work on the rotator cuff. What you want to think of is when you do foam rolling is you want to get all of it, right? So as I talk, I'm gonna like show you some of this stuff just so we can kind of like move forward. I'm doing this in my bedroom just to show you guys that like, I don't need a big fancy gym in order to stretch and take care of myself properly. Okay. So I'm gonna start off with a band. Either you can use one of these like long, stretchy elasticy bands, or I always recommend using like a bathrobe tie. You can do that too, or a towel, anything where it has just a little bit of give, right? And you're gonna hold it straight arms out in front of you just like this. I'm gonna bring this up and I want to try to keep my shoulders down as I stretch and nice and controlled. I'm gonna bring this down towards my hips. Okay, just like this. I'm trying to keep my shoulders down as I bring this up and overhead, right? Like I don't want to go here. Ugh. Yes, this feels nice. I am very relaxed, right? This isn't helping anything, right? So keep your shoulders down. If you, let's see, if I go here, like if I hold super close, I'm going to come here and be like, well, Amanda, I can't go any further, right? Just widen your grip a little bit more. Okay, still not going. A little bit more. Okay, almost there, even if you're going all the way out to the end, right? If you have a band, I even say like you can like loop your thumbs through just so you can give that little bit more, what do you call it? Length, width, whatever you want to call it. Okay, and then like I said, I want to keep my shoulders down and I'm just stretching up. I'm going to feel this nice and tight through my shoulders and my chest. But this is just a nice mobility movement that we can do to warm up your shoulders before we start using the more heavy tools of the foam roller and the lacrosse balls and stuff. Okay. Do about 2 more of these, and then I'm going to stand up. You can be standing already. I was kneeling, talking to you guys, so now I'm still kneeling. Okay. Okay, so using the same thing, I'm just going to grip the ends like this. And my feet together. I'm going to bring my arms up overhead. And what I want to do is I want to go straight over to the side. So notice when I do this one, I'm not trying to like bend forward. I'm not twisting, right? Just want to have my arms up, shoulders down, right? And I'm just going to bend to the side, get that nice long stretch. And I'm going to come back to the middle and I'm going to switch to the other side. If this is kind of intense, which if this is the first time you're doing it, it should be, right? You can also use a wall, okay? So I can put one hand on the wall, bring one arm up overhead, and then I can just slowly tilt straight over to the side to the wall. Okay, and then same thing on the other side. Bring my arm up. Notice I'm not twisting, going straight over. Try and get that long stretch down the side of my body. Okay, you can do those as much as you want. I'm going to move on to the next things. So I've got my 2 lacrosse balls. I've got my foam roller. And I've got a softer, squishier tennis ball. Okay. Um, what I like to do with this is not necessarily like, okay, it's my rotator cuff that hurts. I'm just gonna go right for the rotator cuff, just go like target for the kill. Like your body is smarter than that. If you try to massage the thing that actually hurts, it goes like this. No, leave it alone. What are you doing? And like you actually, don't feel like you've got the knot or whatever was bothering you. Okay. I'm gonna bring you guys down to the ground. There we go. There we go. We got a nice view now. Okay. So because we're rolling out your shoulders, think everything that connects to your shoulders is going to be connected to whatever pain that you have, right? So like just because I feel you have like a pain like in your traps, right? Which is like right here, kind of like on the top of your shoulder, right? You ever have a pain here and kind of like massage it, and you're like, okay, all right, that's fine. It's gone away, but now the back of my shoulder hurts like the pain moves but it's only because there's a word for it. It's like tensionary or something where like it's a word that means like your body is like um tightly held together with loose connections. So like anything that is slightly off in one, it's going to affect literally everything else. So like your body is like a whole very complex organism, right? But anyways, let's go into our foam rolling. So we're gonna start with your foam roller on your shoulders. Okay. So I'm gonna put this right where like my shoulder blades are, right? I'm gonna cross my arms over my chest like this, like I'm about to do a sit-up, right? And I'm just gonna lift my hips off the ground. And I'm just doing slight rocks. Notice I'm not really moving too much, right? I'm not doing these like wide type of like muscle activation swaths, right? Like I really want to like have those muscles relax and just kind of feel out like, okay, how does my body feel, right? So I'm just doing these little rocks all the way down to about the bra line if you're a lady, right below your shoulder blades if you've never worn a bra. We're here, okay. Kind of go back up, find if there's anything up. Yeah, there's the issue right there. Yep, found it. Okay. All right, I'm gonna drop my hips. I'm gonna bring one arm out and I'm gonna turn towards you. My foam roller is now gonna go pretty much like in my armpit, right? We're gonna roll out your lats next. Lats are kind of hard just because they're not directly on the side of you. They're kind of like the side, but the back, but not directly on the back, right? Okay. I got my foam roller. I'm gonna cross one leg over, right? My cool little red slippers. I'm gonna grab the inside of my foam roller and I wanna angle my shoulders down towards the ground and then I'm going to rock back, right? So I'm angling down and then rocking backwards. I'm gonna use this top foot to kind of balance myself and then this hand on the inside of my foam roller to make sure they don't just fall backwards, okay? So this shouldn't be like too intense. We're kind of like dancing around the issue right now. We're like, like, oh, hey body, we're just doing general maintenance. Don't worry about trying to keep that bad part tense. It's okay. We're not even worried about it. Body's like, okay, well, this is fine, I guess. All right, and then once we're done here, right, your lats are literally this area that I'm rolling right now. We're just gonna keep that pressure on the foam roller. I'm gonna move down a bit because I'm kind of close to my wall. I'm gonna keep that pressure on my foam roller. I'm gonna get right on the lat and then I'm gonna scoot up about an inch, okay? So right about here, right? And we're gonna do the same thing. Leg crossed over. I'm rocking forward. I'm rocking back. Oh man, yeah, this is it. So this muscle is kind of like whenever I roll over it, like if this was my muscle and this was the foam roller, every time I roll over it goes bloop, bloop. It's like, no, I don't want to be rolled. But try to get on top of that muscle, right? Like try to roll just right before it starts to roll away from you, and you're gonna take a big deep breath in. Hold, exhale, and go back to your rocking. I have like 2 pairs of pants on because it was kind of chilly earlier. Now I'm in a t-shirt. I don't even know. I don't even know what to do with my body. So anything that feels like lumpy or hurts when you roll over it, it should not be there. Like um, I remember like studying anatomy and realizing that like the places that I had knots when I thought they were bone, like that is not a bone. Like be like massaging like my quad. I'm like, oh, that's just a bone. It's definitely a bone in there. I'm like, wait, that actually anatomically does not make any sense. All right, we're gonna move one more time down. So we're about like I don't know, nipple height, I guess. Or yeah, bralette, I don't know. Whatever that is. You know what I mean. Everyone has nipples. Come on. All right, roll forward and back still. Sometimes like if you feel like this is like not an issue, this is not a problem area, you're kind of able to do this without feeling any of that like Play-Doh-y feel. Awesome. I'm proud of you. You can kind of like skip ahead, I guess. Because we're also gonna do the other side. Okay. So we're gonna switch. Again, I'm gonna start up underneath my armpit. This arm is nice and relaxed, outstretched. This leg is crossed over the top. And I'm gonna go back and forth. Oh yeah, yep. This is my problem side. Everyone has a problem side. I found mine. Mine is my left side, apparently. Okay, let's move down. Oh man, yep, this is it. It's terrible. Oh man. Foam rolling is super important. If you have a knot in your muscle, right? Or if you're working out a lot, um, your muscle fibers are gonna be all types of janky, right? There's like all this sciencey stuff I can get into. Let's move down again. I'm gonna choose not to just because I will talk forever and this video will be way too long. But yeah, so like you working out like leaves your muscle sore, and right, like not just stretching is going to help you recover correctly. Like you can stretch at the end of every exercise, every workout that you do, right? But like you can still get injured, and then that's because you're not putting pressure or attacking like the knots that form. You're literally just like stretching a muscle, and it's like helpful, but like also you need to add everything. It's like, why would you work out if like you're still eating like pizza and like fried chicken every night, right? Like one, you're gonna feel terrible. But also like why would you like, do one healthy thing and like not the other? And that's kind of like what stretching is like stretching is awesome, but if you're not foam rolling, if you're not recovering, if you're not drinking your water, if you're not eating correctly, if you're not exercising, like it's almost like you're just wasting it. But that's my own opinion, whatever. I'm just a personal trainer. Okay, so we're gonna move one more time down. This side is more painful, but like goes easier on the foam roller for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe I'm not relaxed enough. Yeah, maybe that was it. Okay. Okay, we'll pretend that I did all that thing. All right, so we did our shoulders, right? Or not our shoulders, we did our lats, right? So your lats are a big muscle in your back that definitely pull and affect your shoulders, right? So that's why we went with your lats first, which usually, like I said, don't have a lot of like big knots unless you're a fighter. Okay. So like unless you're like doing this like punch thing or like doing, you don't know, like years of kayak rows, uh, don't worry about it. It's probably gonna be fine. So now we're gonna move on to probably my favorite exercise ever. We're gonna use two lacrosse balls, right? Side by side. You can also I like to keep them free from each other, but some people like tape them together. There's also ones that are already that come together like in a little butterfly thing. But yeah, whatever you want to do, that's cool. So we're gonna do, I'm gonna turn this way. You're gonna start with it up right on your traps, not on your neck bone, right? Like not like super high. We'll do those later. But you're gonna start with this right where my neck starts to get wider. Okay, so right here. I'm gonna lay down on the ground like this. Okay, so I'm just making sure that these are even. You can just use one. If you only have one lacrosse ball, you can just use one, but like note, you're gonna have to do each side. And then also it's way more intense. So, you know, starting off this way is a little bit better for me personally. Okay. So I have them up underneath my traps, right? I can feel the squishy part of my traps on top of the ball, right? And all I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna have my arms next to my side like this. I'm gonna keep my thumbs facing up towards my head, and I'm just gonna bring my arms up. And ideally, you want to be able to touch the ground behind you without raising your ribs, right? So if I'm here, this is wrong. I want to keep my ribs down, and I want to keep that mobility only through my shoulders. Okay, if I don't reach, that's okay. It's not a big deal. But I'm gonna come back down. Again, this shouldn't be super painful if this is your first time doing it. Like we're kind of working down towards the problem child, which is in about 2 moves, but it's okay. We're working into it. Okay. All right. So after about anywhere between 5 to 10 arm rotations, we're gonna move up again. So the balls are gonna move down. I'm just gonna slide, push off of my heels. I'm gonna slide up a little bit, right? And so just enough that the balls move down, down my shoulders, right? You can kind of see them. So they're just a little bit down. Okay. And I'm going to do that same thing. I want to make sure that they're still even. Down a little bit more. Somehow they twisted. Okay. All right. I'm going to do the same thing. The arms come up. This is usually where it starts getting a little bit tougher. Also, know there are nerves in your shoulders. So if you get a knot in your shoulders, right, in the back of your shoulders, and you're trying to break that knot up, and you do this motion, and you feel like a weird pain going down here, all that means is that yes, you do have a knot. No, you don't necessarily need to stop unless it's super painful. However, it will go away. You will literally like do this motion. You're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what's going on. Like I'm feeling this here in the top of my arm, and I don't know why. Okay, is it supposed to happen? Yes, it can happen. It's not supposed to, just because it means that you're, you know, you're slightly off. You're slightly janky. And if you find a good knot, place where you're like, ooh, that does not feel good. Anywhere in these rotations, I want to keep your arms in that same position. Hey, you want me to take a big deep breath in, exhale, and bring your arms back down. So it's not necessarily super important to complete the circle all the way up overhead. You're mostly just moving your muscles over the ball versus moving the ball over your muscles. Yeah, my shoulders are like super clicky. If you have clicky shoulders, it means that your shoulders are tight and you should probably fix yourself. Watch this video again. And then when I come back down to having my hands next to my hips, I'm fully relaxing my shoulders, right? As you're doing this, like you won't even notice that you're tensing. And then all of a sudden I come back down and it's like, oh, I'm so tense. And then I go bring my arms back down and I just relax. Like, oh, I was tensing. Okay. Okay, we're gonna do this again. I'm gonna scoot down again because I'm again kind of close to my wall. Okay, so now I'm gonna have them about middle of my shoulders. Okay, so if I stand up, I'm gonna show you where they are. So these are going on either side of my spine, right here. Okay, so like about halfway down. This is, I call this the motherland. This is where I put all of my stress and tension. And if you feel like you haven't felt anything in this exercise, definitely will now. Okay, so this is in the middle of my shoulders, right? So I'm like kind of to the point where it's like, oh, uncomfortable. Just sitting here. Just gonna breathe. Breathe with me. Ooh, so glad you're here with me. I don't think I can do this on my own. Okay. Thumbs facing up towards the ceiling. Coming up. Nice and relaxed shoulders. Right. Another cool thing about doing both arms at the same time is you can kind of like look at my mobility difference between this arm and this arm. Like this is crazy. Like this is crazy. I didn't even realize that was an issue until just now. Gonna come back down. It's so crazy that I know I keep saying everything's crazy, right? But it is crazy that like you'll like swing your arms or your shoulders will get tight and you're like, oh man, I don't even know what's going on. Like I just must be like this forever, right? Like this is just how I'm gonna live my life with cracky shoulders. And then you roll out all the knots and all the gross stuff that's like just gumming up the works and it goes away. You're like, oh, I guess I could have done that earlier. Trying to relax. Mostly just relaxing, trying to talk to you this whole time. I hope it's helpful. Some people say when I'm working out with them, they're like, "Can you just you're you're talking a lot and it's kind of distracting." I'm like, "Yes, literally the point. I'm trying to distract you from the effort that your body's going through so that you can like do your full workout without feeling like you have to stop because you're in pain." It's like, literally a thing. Okay, so I'm gonna move kind of up a little bit more since like as I'm rolling this spot out, I'm feeling more of a knot a little bit higher. So like you don't have to do the same thing, but like as you're doing this, kind of track where like that knot is going, right? Just because we already did the higher position doesn't mean that you have to not go back to it, right? Like you can do this as much as you want. I usually do this for an hour, like the whole shoulder thing. I'll usually do it for an hour. I love when I say, "Hey, hello, client. We should do a foam rolling session." And they're like, "Oh, okay, cool. That'll take like 15, 20 minutes." I'm um, like no, like I'm gonna have to cut it short at an hour. Like I can easily do this for 2 hours. Full body, man, that's like 2.5 hours. Which is why it's easier to just like break it down into pieces. Like, okay, one day I'm gonna do shoulders, one day I'm gonna do legs. This way, I don't know a lot of people that have like 2 to 3 hours in their day to just foam roll, and like put themselves through like slightly uncomfortable like foam rolling. It's not it helps, it's very good for making sure that you're recovering, but why would you want to do that? Okay, let's do one more. Move down. Usually you don't want to go too much further down
the shoulder area. Just because like the problem that we're trying to work on is eventually going to be the rotator cuff, right? Which is, like I said, is on the outside of your shoulder. We're rolling the inside, just kind of like see if anything is helping. But yeah, we're gonna get to the problem child in a second. Okay. Ugh, what's pretending like I did all this? Man, I don't know about you, but my neck is like the thing that is like bugging me. And I'm actually gonna make a different video for that because it's a little bit more advanced. Cool. Just checking my messages. No worries. All right, you guys have a tennis ball, squishy, or even like a dog toy or something, like anything that's softer than a lacrosse ball, right? Lacrosse ball, tennis ball. So at this point, I think we can move on to our actual rotator cuff. Okay. So what we did before is here. What we're going to do now is on the outside of your shoulder blade. Okay. So this little area over here. And you can, like, if you just want to take your hand, just put your hand on your shoulder and just move your arm around like this, right? You're going to feel the different muscles of your rotator cuff kind of working in there. Okay. So we don't want to go too hard on this. We're not trying to cause pain at all. But what we're trying to do is just like, if there's any knots that potentially have built up in the rotator cuff, or maybe they're just tired and like just need a second to like, relax, that's what we're going to do. I'm going to lay up. I'm putting my arm up and I'm pushing my shoulder forward. I'm going to put the tennis ball right behind there. Oh man, literally like just touching it. And it's like, okay. So once I'm here, I'm going to bring my shoulder back down towards the ground. I'm going to drop my arm out this way. And then I'm going to roll myself over onto the tennis ball. Okay. And then from here, what I want to do, notice I'm trying to like, I wonder if there's an easier, better way to do this. Get a turn. Okay, I'll do it this way. So I have this underneath my shoulder on the outside, and then I'm just dropping this arm over, and then I'm gonna roll over onto that tennis ball. Yeah, you can kind of see that better. So I'm right on top of it. I'm using my arm as a brace for some of my body weight, right? But all I'm trying to do is just trying to like roll around this area and try to see if there's any gummed up grossness. Like, yep, mine's like right there. Oh, it keeps gaping. Okay. Up a little bit. Oh, yes, I found it. Okay, mine was a little bit more inboard. The insertion point, if you will. Okay, and then from here, I just want to like slowly move this arm to activate whatever those muscles are. So I'm finding that problem spot. I want to try to get that muscle activated by using it, by rotating my arm. And then same thing like with the shoulder is I want to try to like move around and try to track down that knot. So just because it started in one spot doesn't mean it necessarily is going to stay there. Okay. And this is like horrific with a lacrosse ball. Like lacrosse ball for your rotator cuff is like you're definitely doing like way more damage than helping yourself. Like I've seen so many people have issues with their rotator cuff. They'll use a lacrosse ball in the exact same way I'm using a tennis ball, and they'll literally just cause like excess inflammation and like therefore end up hurting themselves. It's not the best move. I'm gonna switch to the other side. I'm actually doing great. I'm happy that we did this together, guys. Okay, so arm push forward. I'm gonna set that down. Oh no. Oh no, this is the problem side. Okay. 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 We're here. I'm fine. This is great. Okay, I'm just gonna move closer. Oh, hmm yep, that's right there. Okay. Oh no. Okay, same thing. Find that problem. Man, this whole shoulder is just like, eh. And you can always like, I don't know, if you can find a softer ball, a pom pom, maybe that would be great. You can also be gentle with yourself. Remind yourself that like you didn't get to this point in what, like 30 minutes, so therefore like give yourself some grace. Like if you need to kind of take a break and then come back to it, or if it's really bad and you feel like you'll need a second session, like do a second session in the afternoon or the evening before you go to sleep. Like it doesn't have to all get released in 1 hour. Would be nice if it did though, right? There we go. See, just gotta talk through it, and it's like getting out. This is great. I really like the feeling of when a knot releases, because like at first it's painful, and you're like, ah, why am I doing this to myself? And then all of a sudden, like I'll feel like my heartbeat in the knot, and then it'll be like, and it just like melts away. And all of a sudden, like the place that your tennis ball or lacrosse ball isn't painful anymore. It just feels like pressure. It's just uncomfortable. Like, oh, like right now, like, oh, I'm just lying on a tennis ball. This isn't comfortable, but it's no longer painful. Oh, yes, that was amazing. Okay, cool. Anything else in here? Oh, one. So notice I'm like, even though I got one knot, I'm like kind of checking around just to make sure there was like another deeper knot. I think of like I don't know, like Indiana Jones, like like a tomb invader, right? It's like got the one door that opens up to another door that opens up to like this one knot. It opens up to the deeper knot that was actually the issue. Weird thinking yourself of like your body in 3D. Like everything isn't just like one on top of it. Like literally your, let's say like your deltoid, right? Like your shoulder, like your little cap right here, right? The your deltoid, like it's technically like more outboard than like your bicep, which is more outboard than, you know, whatever else is like under there, right? It's like you got your chest muscles, then you got like the underside, like I don't know. I think it's really cool. Okay, I'm gonna relax on that one. Whew, all right. So my mobility is a little bit cool. All right. So this is like a short little intro to shoulder rolling, I guess. I hope it was helpful. Like I said, I'm gonna do a second video on neck stretching because it's not just stretching, it is also like rolling out of those knots, which is awkward, but like helps very much. So I hope this was helpful. I'll see you guys later. Like and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye guys.